Welcome to the coop. We got some chickies. This is right up here. Hey, baby. What you doing up there? I know I'm a little early today, but I got a busy day and I want to get on here and kind of share something. So, you want to know how God works? I'm going to tell you. So, when we pray for stuff, sometimes you get an instant answer to your prayer. You know, you can't afford your bills. Somebody hands you $20. And you're like, huh. You need something, you pray for it, and it comes. The problem with, this is just how I feel, okay? Problem with instant prayer answers is it always leaves a small doubt, I guess, because we're human. It leaves an open door to say, oh, maybe that guy just heard, or maybe he knows me and I needed to, he gave me the $20 because he's a nice guy. In my case with, drinking and partying, I went to church and I said, I can't handle it. You got it. I can't do this without you. And I walked out of that church and honestly, I never touched another thing. I could actually make you a drink right now and it wouldn't bother me. There's no desire for it. So it was removed. And it leaves that open interpretation, that little bit right there where sometimes I catch myself saying, maybe I didn't have a problem. Maybe it wasn't the fact that God removed it from my life. Maybe I didn't really have a problem and I just felt like stopping. And I got to kind of remind myself that that wasn't the case, that, I prayed for it and I got my prayer answered. So instant prayer answers. Somebody's sick, they get better. You got a headache, you take some aspirin, but you also pray about it. It goes away. You're like, is it the aspirin? Was it God? Just silly things like that. There's always, when it happens so fast, there's always something. But every once in a while, God says, I knew you before you were born. I know what you're going to ask for before you ask for it. And when you have one of those moments and you say, there's no way. This makes no sense. So I'm going to lay this out for you. Many, many years ago, I applied for a job at USC, and I didn't end up taking it due to the circumstances that were going on. And I thought it was because of that. But I believe it was because I didn't meet the one person I was supposed to meet yet. And if I was at the university, never would have happened. So years go by, and I decide I don't want to do heat and air in the residential world anymore. I want to do new construction. Well, there's one house that just turns into a giant pain in the butt. I mean, I was there so much and, kept saying it's not the unit, it's the house. They said it's the unit. I don't know if you ever bought a new house, but warranties, they don't like to, after your year's up, they don't want nothing to do with you, so they try and drag you out. Well, I went so many times that these people became family, like they just became family. And at this point, my son comes to me and says, I forgot to turn my notifications off. So my son comes to me and says, I want to do archery. We're not archery people. We're soccer, basketball, real sports. Well, sorry for the archery people. Archery's a real sport. Ooh, I committed social media suicide. So he wants to do archery for no apparent reason. Saw a bow, school's got it. So remember, I'm going to this house so much that we became family, and I happened to walk in, and there's a bow, a Genesis bow, which was what I was told to get. So I asked, what's up with the bow? And she's like, oh, I coach. And the daughter was, I guess she was all right. She was kind of decent at archery, just a world champ, center shot champ, state champ. Just all right. But at that moment, she was coaching and teaching. So I decided to hire her to teach my son. So we did this for a few years. He was doing the archery thing, and she was teaching him. And over that time, we all became closer. Like I said, they were family before. Now, she calls me Uncle Tommy. I call her my niece. She was the person I was supposed to meet. Weird as that sounds. She had such great faith. She invited me to go to church. I ended up back at church. And I decided that, if I'm going to church, had a lot of other things going on. I needed to quit drinking and doing drugs and stuff like that. So I gave that up to God, and God took it away. That was an instant gone. And that left open interpretation, open doors for me to say, maybe I didn't have a problem, but that wasn't the case. So at that point, things were getting better. So I decided to honor God by making it a priority to go to church every Sunday. That's why you hear me say, go to church. It's very important to me. Go to church. I honor God every week by going to church. I honor God by serving as hard as I can when I go to church, to give back, to say thank you for everything. So that was 3 years ago. About the same time, I went to install an AC unit 3 years ago. And the neighbor came out and was like, hey, I got a problem with my unit. Could you look at it? Sure. Looked at that unit, said, we just bought a unit. We just bought a house in Savannah. Would you mind replacing the unit? Said, not a problem. Went and replaced the unit. I told this guy, look, man, you're going to have to find somebody else to service it, because that's just too far. I mean, you're talking 3 hours there, 3 hours back for $75. I mean, it's really just, it's not worth it. It really isn't. But he's particular, and, it's hard to find people you trust nowadays. He trusted me. He asked me, and I decided to honor that, that agreement that I installed it. I would go ahead and service it. Around the same time, 3 years ago, my son came home and said, I want to do pharmacy. I want to be a pharmacist. Again, where, I don't know. I just know that this whole thing was like, whatever, I'll back you on anything you want to do. So I ended up getting the job at USC eventually. And I'm looking at it saying, you know what, perfect timing, because now he's going to want to come to USC and he can get in here for pharmacy, I'm thinking. Couple years go by. There's a summer camp, important summer camp for pharmacy, I guess. He wanted to go. It was too late. We just couldn't. But I worked there now. Remember, I worked there. So I went in like a big mouth I am, and I demanded and pushed and pulled, and they made it available. I told them I couldn't pay for it, but, they were like, we'll work something out. Well, that didn't work out. So to my mom, talking with my Aunt Joyce, love you to death. It was really good for him. It worked out great. We were able to get him into the camp, and that opened up a door for him to create a relationship, we'll say, with the head of the pharmacy department. So kind of trying to remember all this, because it's a lot and there's a lot of twisted parts to it, but I really wasn't praying for anything or asking God for anything until maybe a few months ago, we'll say. And I was like, let my kid's dreams come true. Let him get everything this kid wants. Take from me, give to him. I don't care about me. I'll do anything for my kids. I'd give him everything I got. I wanted him to fulfill this dream of his. and, kind of break a generational curse, where you're flatlining this way. If your palm's this way, you're pushing down. So what I wanted to do is God flip the palm so he can lift up my kids. And so I started praying about this. And I was like, give him everything he wants. So due to the fact that he went to this camp during what I heard was one of the hardest academic years to get into USC, he got into USC. Not only did he get into USC, he got in for pharmacy, which I thought was great. And I'm still praying about it. And I'm like, more. Like, everything the kid wants. Like, make it work out. Everything that needs to happen, let it fall in line. So today was the day I had to go to Savannah to service this guy's unit. Going for $75. Honoring my agreement. And I drive all the way out there. I do the maintenance. I do everything. And he says, hey, I got a colleague of mine wants to have you look at his stuff. And I'm like, thank gosh, 3 years of doing this, man. I need somebody else. Like, make it worth my while to come down. Let's get 10 people. I'll bring my family for vacation, I was telling him. So he goes, follow me. I follow him. And we pull into, I think it was Southwest College. And I'll be damned, straight to the School of Pharmacy. And he walks in, and he introduces me to the dean of some kind of student academic, blah, blah, blah. We have a nice little conversation about his units and everything. And then I'm always one that, listen, you got a mouth. If you don't ask, nobody's going to know. So I did. I said, hey, man, you got any summer programs for my kid? And we had a nice conversation. And the guy I've been servicing his unit on for 3 years now, it hit me. I looked at him and I was like, are you a pharmacist? Never asked him. 3 years. Never once did I ask him. He says, yes, Tommy, I'm a pharmacist. I've been doing pharmacy since blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Oh, no. Did I lose it? Oh, no. I don't know what just happened. I lost you. You're back. Hi, how you doing? So this guy's a pharmacist. And I look at him and I go, hey, my kid's doing pharmacy. That. And all this other stuff. Now, my son went and applied for a job at CVS. And he didn't get it. He needed to be a farm tech. So we paid to get his license for farm tech. So now he's a farm tech. But he still can't get into CVS. Out of nowhere, this guy goes, I've been doing pharmacy since I was a kid, college, all that stuff. He goes, I started at CVS. I was like, you can't make this up. He goes, I started at CVS. And I was like, that's insane. My kid just applied and he didn't get in. And he goes, let me know his name. He goes, I'm good friends with the head of CVS in Georgia. And he's good friends with, obviously, the head of CVS in South Carolina. And we'll get him whatever he wants, but I'll do everything I can to get him where he needs to be. And we had this nice, long, drawn-out conversation about everything. And I was on my way home from Georgia, just gleaming ear for ear, because I felt like I had been praying for this, and things were starting to line up. But what I saw in the long run on the way home was the whole layout. The whole layout. I didn't start praying for this till the last few months. This began more than 5 years ago. This whole thing began more than 5 years ago. All this was in the works. God knows you before you were born. He knows what you're going to ask for before you ask for it. When you have instant miracles or instant blessings, you can kind of maybe them away. But you can't maybe away something that was designed years before you even thought of it. I never thought, my kid didn't want anything to do with pharmacy, in the beginning. I was supposed to be at USC already. It didn't work out because I was supposed to meet somebody else. After I met that person, USC came into play. After USC came into play, pharmacy came into play, church came into play. All these things were aligned and designed by God to fulfill something that I'm asking for now. I didn't ask for it 5 years ago. I asked for it now. And the fact that what I'm asking for now is actually being fulfilled is insane. I just can't explain it away. What I can do is get pissed off at these chickens for attacking my shoes because I didn't bring no snacky snacks again. Maui, go away. So sometimes your prayers will get answered right away. And you can maybe them away. But when you see something and the vision of the whole thing clearly comes out that there's literally zero chance that any of this should have lined up, and it lines up, you can't deny that God's involved in it. You just can't. There's no way we would have known Dylan wanted to do pharmacy. There's no way that, I would have been not taking the job at USC so that I can meet the person I was supposed to, so that I could be back in church. And honoring God by going to church now creates a blessing on the other end. And that blessing was already in place before I even went to church. You get the job at USC. The kid gets, to go to a camp that he was about to miss, and he gets in last second to create a relationship that allows him to get accepted into USC for pharmacy, to find out that the guy I've been working for 3 years, and we've never talked about it, turns out to be a pharmacist and some kind of bigwig at a college in Georgia, that I've been honoring him with my time for 3 years, to be introduced to the dean of the college of student affairs acceptance setting up or whatever. Then to find out the dude started at CBS and knows the head of CBS in Georgia and is willing to introduce my son to the head of CBS in South Carolina so that he can get a job as a farm tech at CBS. I mean, God's real, man. God's real. That's what it comes down to. God knows you before you were born. God knows you before you was born. God knew you before you were born. God knows what you're going to ask for before you even ask for it. The instant miracles, the instant blessings. I don't know why this pops into my head, but there's a saying about friendship, so I'm going to use it for instant blessings. This is the way my stupid brain works. Instant blessings are like peeing your pants. Everybody can see it, but only you feel that warm instant blessing. So if you find yourself forgetting that you had a miracle, or you're not sure if it was, maybe you should just pee your pants again and feel it all over again. Feel that warmth. Remember what it felt like when you sat in there and you prayed for something and it came through, and you were like, that's God, thank you. And you thanked him. And then 6 months later, you were like, maybe it wasn't him, So remind yourself that God's the one actually pulling strings. Man, this phone is horrible. Okay. And all the chickies ran away from me. I think I'm just too excited and being too loud. So y'all just get me in the coop, I guess. So if you're praying for something and it doesn't come right away, Just wait. Just keep praying for it. If you're praying for something and it comes right away, give the glory where it belongs. You know, if you don't pray for it and it comes, it's just a random act of kindness. But if you pray for it and you get it, there's probably just not a random act of kindness. It's probably God saying, you know what? You're my kid. You're my son. You're my daughter. And I want you to have what you want. But listen, man, when you pray for something, when you're praying for something for the last few months and you can piece together the beginning 5, 6, 7 years ago, man, that gets me excited. That got me excited because he knows. He knows what you want. He's designing it right now. You are asking for something in the present. You want a job. You want, your family better. You want something to happen and some kind of movement in your life. And what you don't know is it's already started. Honor, obey, and trust. You do those things, and oh my gosh, man, show up on Sunday. Show up on Sunday. That's what I'm telling you. Show up every Sunday. The world puts you Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30, 8 to 5:30, puts all your stuff on Saturday and Sunday. That ain't by chance. That ain't by chance. All your crap is on Sunday. All your family time, all your games, all your, your side jobs, everything you do is on Saturday and Sunday because the world's got you so busy from Monday through Friday. For the next 6 months, cut it all out and show up every Sunday. Show up every Sunday. And I promise you, you'd be surprised. I'm surprised right now. I really am. Like I said, something I'm praying for now. I can actually follow the timeline back at least 7 years, 6, 7, 8 years. And I'm excited. And we're not done. This isn't done. This is a guy that might be, he's going to be going to bat to get my kid a job, but this is just the beginning for my kid. And I love it. And I'm thankful for it. And the girls are back. I don't know what happened in there, but they are coming out hot and heavy. What happened? You okay? Somebody bite you? So, yeah. You want to know why I go to church every Sunday? Why I think it's so important to go to church every Sunday? Things like this. Things like this. I've had little instant miracles where I can kind of go, maybe it's just karma. Maybe it's just something good that, came my way. But I can't deny this one. I can't. I can line this back. I can line this up and say, there's no way. There's literally no way. The mind-blowing one for me is the guy I've been working for 3 years. Didn't even know he was a pharmacist. My son didn't even want to be a pharmacist when I started, this whole thing. And for him to come out today and be like, yeah, I'm a pharmacist. Here's my card. I work with this guy. I work with that guy. Come on. Come on, man. Come to church. Come to church. Hey, again, I was a little early today, but I got to go do another job, and I got stuff to do, and I wanted to make sure I got on here and shared that with y'all. Then we can say goodbye to the chickies. Well, thank y'all for showing up. Hope that when you watch this, that you get a little bit. See, I'm not lying. Watch. My damn shoes, man. So I hope you get a little inspiration out of this, and you get a little confirmation out of it too. Some of y'all are out there still wishy-washy about God and the Bible and Jesus and all this stuff. And I hope that this little story kind of leans you in a little bit farther to start believing that it's a serious possibility that we're not the crazy ones. we ain't the crazy ones, man. So, love y'all. Y'all have a good day. I'm going to take riding this high right now. And I'm going to honor God some way. I'm going to honor God some way. So, say goodbye to the chicken that's eating my damn shoe because she's about to get eaten. All right. Love you.